the realization that, frequency of change, there's a real, again, kind of light bulb moment in financial services, which actually has happened in many other industries already, which is, a 12-month patch is a frighteningly dangerous thing to do. As that release frequency is longer, that's not a good thing, right? And you can see that in, the ability of these organizations to spin up test environments, impossible if not,
test data.
Test data, the ability to run, continuous test. So I think it's not just the underlying technology that's changed. And I think, we've tried really hard in forming our business to be thinking about how the organization and the approach also aligns with the tech. So when you get a white piece, and this is where the challenges have been great, actually, as financial services organizations, they've aligned their business model and their tech and their servicing and their approach to branch and remote, and they've aligned their business around the way that they operate sort of holistically. And we've done the same thing, right? So, rolling out 5, 6, 7 production releases a day into a payments landscape because of the way that we manage toolchain and because of the way we do continuous development, we're taking our clients on a journey that says that is not a more risky solution. That means in our 5-year life cycle, we've released 3,000 times, right? And so how good are we at releasing this change and managing that process versus an organization that might be 15 years old, but has only released 30 times. But which of these things actually is the risk, and how do you manage it? And
it's a trade-off that we see with our clients as well. Historically, the answer to the risk is to put more red tape around it, more reviews, etc., more governance, and it doesn't reduce any risks. We've seen from payments examples in the UK market where reputable banks, it stops working for a day.
Like, it is a bit of a journey, right? Because you're the head of, you've got SMR accountability in a bank, and they're sort of saying if anything goes wrong, it's on your head. And, you, Mike, are lovely and your firm is lovely. And then you kind of go, okay, so you've done this 3,000 times, but you've done it once for me, or you haven't even done it once for me. The change bit is hard enough, right? In terms of saying, just getting people on the journey, in terms of saying this is new tech, it's cloud, it's DevOps. But then the opposite bit is the case in terms of saying, right, so you're telling me in terms of saying, you're going to be releasing 3 times and you're not even going to tell us, or, that's hard.
It is. And this is why it's, this is why it's a method and a ways of working conversation. It's not just about, the release of technology.
It's not even about the payments piece of that.
No, it's not. No, it's about it's about an entire ethos. But you're not. We're not pushing against organisations that are saying we don't want to work like that. We're working with organisations who need to learn how to do that in a way that operates in a critical service like payments. And so, what they're doing is leaning on. We've not been around very long, but actually we've done a lot of it because of the frequency of what we do and the rate of change that goes through our estate. The successful management of that is a proof point, a bit like volume and the technology itself. It's a proof point that allows these organizations to think about their own development shops. It allows them to think about their own tool chaining. It allows them to think about their own movement to DevOps, which they know they need to do, not just on the web applications and the mobile applications, but they know that same methodology needs to extend into the rest of their franchise, because that's how their competitors and challenger organizations have geared their whole business.
And we've seen that, in terms of saying with the clients, in terms of saying talking to them about DevOps, it's it's a philosophy, right? It's kind of it's a state, it's like a yang thing. It's a state of mind.
It's almost kind of religion, right? I mean, your whole business has to commit to that. You can't half commit to that.
And it's also the acceptance that it's an ongoing journey. So there is no end to it. And I think many of the financial service companies, they'd like to see exactly what they do in 5 years and how it needs to work.
That's right.
And actually, this is just an ongoing commitment to get better. And that mindset shift, I think we've seen it with a couple of clients, it's the hardest one to achieve. Because it's partly people change you need to go through. It's a change of how you govern and how you start targets within these firms. But it's the only way to go. And it's the only way to go actually to improve the resilience, lower the cost, and improve the way that they can generate kind of revenue or can be better there for their customers.
I think it creates an interesting opportunity for strategic investors, for SI partners actually, because we can't operate at the speed we operate doing what we do unless we're a product shop. You can't do it unless you're a product shop. But by definition, what that means is we're not trying to compensate for the build of that product by wrapping it in professional services. That's not our business model. And so, we're dealing with the very sort of philosophical ways of working about hosting and release management and DevOps models and tool chains. Like, we're having all of those conversations with clients. And actually what they also need are internal stakeholders and external partners that help the internal side of those organizations to move in that direction as well, because we can kind of shine a light on it, but we're not equipped to do that. That's not our business model. And actually, if we did do that, it would mean that the rest of our product exercise and the sort of the pushing of the boundaries that we're doing in how this works would slow down. And ultimately that doesn't help anybody. So I think it creates this really interesting link between platform technology that organizations like Form3 and some others run, and the role that SI partners have in taking these static known products and how they can be consumed in different cases for different types of organizations.